Welcome back to my series where we learn every strat on every site used by the best team in the world on a particular map. Today we have Shopify Rebellion on Lair. Now what makes Shopify Rebellion the best team in the world on Lair? Well, they were 5-0 undefeated on the map across both Pro League and EWC ever since picking up Spoit to the roster. And as you'll see in a bit right now, they beat all of NA at this map. And NA was thought to be the strongest Lair region. And then they go to EWC and they beat G2 on this map. Just now, as you see on screen, they beat G2 and Stompin', Spoit versus Stompin'. Spoit wins on Lair. And G2 in the tournament end up winning every Lair game against NIP Inferior and dominating and owning Brazil after that. So if G2 was the best Europe Lair team and they beat all of Brazil, and SR beat all of NA, and then also beat G2, then by power scaling, Shopify Rebellion is the best Lair team. But today, the VOD we're going to break down is actually not going to be the game against G2. It's actually going to be the game against Dark Zero and NA, which I believe was a much better, much crazier strategical showing from Shopify Rebellion than not. So we're going to go ahead and start stealing all their setups and explaining and teaching you exactly how these work off the rip right now. Let's go. So starting off on defense, we have the top floor bomb site, which is probably the most popular bomb site on the map. First things first, SR are going to reinforce the mask wall. It's the wall that goes directly outside. They're going to double reinforce off the outer mask wall. And they are going to reinforce one of the inner mask walls, but actually make holes on the other side. Now, why is that? Is because they have a operational extension, because if the enemy takes into operational, well, it gives them very easy access to kind of opening up the mask wall, which from that point on they could just plant the bomb, right? They can just walk in and plant the bomb. So we don't want them to have to control 2 seconds, so we're actually going to play an Azami in here in operational, and this is going to be one of our really powerful positions for Azami, because once again, you can put the keep barricades. You can imagine put him on these walls right here and kind of make a fortress inside of operational, and especially if you want to fall back, you can fall back if necessary need be. Now what this also does is if they don't take operational control but they open the wall, then your zombie can still pressure into sight, and vice versa. Your sight player can hold the crossfire with a zombie onto anyone pushing him in operational, and it's a two-way crossfire, and you can easily flex a reinforcement if you're falling off with the zombie to give away as well. Not only that, they have holes over here on the single wall between sides, because this will let the smoke throw his smoke grenade to counter out the plant on the mask wall. But speaking of smoke, let's actually see what the smoke setup says on the opposite side of the map. So right here you see Canadian reinforcing, but actually making a rotate into storage side, which I'm pretty sure is not as common in rank. So we'll go ahead and explain why to you guys. But first of all, making the rotate on this side is generally better, because they usually have a rotate on the wall into server as well to keep the site connectable. So this wall just makes it so the attackers can't kill you through here. Another thing that's really common is the holes across the wall here and a reinforcement here. It's just so the attackers can't just walk in through this immediate outer pebble door and then bobbing you and start killing you. So you make this wall right here, and there you have it. This is a really simple connector or U-haul setup that I call it, because it's shaped like a U. And the reason why you want to hold down U-haul, because it's a narrow choke that is super easy for attackers to take. You place smokes here so that you can smoke it off, and you kind of play a shotgun in this position, and you can also have a player playing over here with the crossfire to enable a guy doesn't walk through Pebble's door, and now you have a perfect crossfire between your two players over here. Because the thing is, if you give this up, the attackers take all this control. They just get a guy out of this corner, and as long as they have a player on the art window, they're going to be able to cross here and plant, right? So this is, you want to extend on this side of the map because it's a super good side to hold. Now the rotate server side basically allow it to have a lot of mobility around the other side of the map. One, this also gives you another angle down onto breach and lets you play close here, prone and whatnot. And they put the other rotate on the art wall over here, and same thing over here, right? You don't want to, you know, just like this gives you one, a super long angle onto the breach itself, or mask breach if they ever get through it, that outside wall. But two, it lets it so that if you're playing around this position, you're not stuck having to walk back into sight in front of like the art window over here. You can actually walk back in through the rotates into sight. And yeah, that's basically the overall setup. You'll see Surf reinforce this bathroom wall, and this is because you want to play. And this is because if you didn't reinforce the bathroom wall, the enemies can just open up the bathroom window and basically hold down a cut onto the player crossing down from the hallway. So if the Azami ever wants to come back, help his boys out on this side of the map, that's a no-no, right? Pro League is all about extension and helping out your players. This wall makes it so that, one, you can still kind of punish the bathroom hop-in, but they can no longer punish you. Some teams do like to double reinforce it. I don't know if that cuts away from Surf here, so I don't know if we'll see that they double reinforce it or not. But holding rocket stairs is super, super important because it is the gap, right? If someone comes up rocket stairs, they can kill all your players, allowing the enemy team to get a kill onto the operational player, and then opening the mass wall and going for the plant. So you want to hold down this rocket stairs no matter what. Oh, I'm actually wrong. I'm actually wrong on this. So it's on the other side, and they have feet holes here. You're wrong on both sides, but it's okay. Wait. Okay, so I'm actually a moron, and they're going to reinforce the right side of the operational wall instead. I'm assuming it's because it's better if you give up operational to not have a fucking long angle all the way down the hallway. So they reinforce this side instead, and they put feet holes on the left side. Now, when do you make feet holes versus head holes? In super dumb men, it's very complicated and it depends on a lot of factors, but in super dumb men terms, feet holes are to kill enemies close, head holes are to kill enemies far. Okay, so if they get close here, basically they could use these holes to kind of just stop them from walking up to this doorway. You can see that's very, oh, I didn't mean to do that, oppressive. And then for the bathroom holes, actually, they're going to have it on this side. I got both these reinforcements wrong, and their fucking coach is watching me in chat. So, boom. Yeah, I don't even know if they made holes on this. Okay, we're going to watch the strat play out now and see what ends up happening with the positions-wise. So, once again, barbed wire. They do have ambi free roaming below, and this is because of the popularity of the Buck playing underneath, because all these positions exist on top of soft floor. So, Buck and Deimos underneath is super strong. That's why he's playing Vigil, right? Because Vigil counters a Deimos track. DZ are going for something called a Skybridge take. So, the goal of the Skybridge take, as you can see, is use that shield and double up walk down Skybridge to be able to get to the plant spot on the art side door of meeting. And you'll see right now this is zombie setup. So the reinforce the walls like this instead of the more aggressive like typical rank setup where you have this holes open and this wall reinforced. The rank setup assumes you're never going to let it go. This setup basically says we're going to let it go. You're going to have this control at some point, but it's still going to be pretty easy for you to take it. So it's going to be a little layer to get rid of it. So you see the zombies playing here, super strong position for a zombie to play. And now you see DZ going for their Skybridge take where they crouch down all the way down Skybridge with the Blackbeard, doubled up player over here. Nafe is repelling outside of the window by Green Hall just to make sure no one can come up these green stairs. Okay, so a Spirit's walking down this hallway, and Nafe's going to be repelling outside this window right here just to make sure, oh my god. Nafe's going to be repelling us at this window right here just to make sure his boys cannot die to a guy flanking up green stairs, or if there's a guy green stairs, he can't get away. And they're going to get up close to this U-Haul position, which now is going to go against the smokes. If you're playing ranked and you know the enemy team's going for this Pebbles or Skybridge side push, you need to learn how to do this crossfire, okay? So it's going to be one player with a smokes inside a U-Haul, or sorry, in sort of storage, and you're going to be another player inside like the kind of connector area. Unfortunately, Canadian does go down while the smoke gets through, and now DJ going to get a super successful take onto the storage U-Haul area. It's going to work out like literally perfectly in their favor. Now, typically speaking, this is what the attackers want to do when they have this control. So one, if the defense manages to fall off and flex reinforce it off, the attackers will want to breach this open again, right? The second thing is they want to get their shield to cross onto this plant spot. This is the plant spot for the attackers, the ideal plant spot, right? Because if you have a player outside the art display window, then no one can come swing around and swing this guy on the plant spot. So that's the general idea. If we get that storage control and we manage to nade out a player or buck out from underneath this player playing close right here, then the shield can just cross through, and as long as the player's on art window, he can vault up and plant right here, and they have a perfect, really good post plant from down the Pebbles Hall. Right, so that's kind of DZ's current goal right now, and SR are trying to stop that. So what they're going to do, actually, with the Azamis, actually quite a smart play. They're going to use the Azamis to block off the storage door, and then at the same time power through to try to isolate this kill on the shield player and retake storage, because it's that important of a position. Spirits does end up fucking up his dash, which allows it to happen, and then Spoit uses another Azami to run back through, and that's the power, the flexibility of that Azami. He can play. We're in the wrong position. They were late getting back. GG. My philosophy on that is like, it's okay if you guys read the wrong push, because it groups you up on the other side of the map, and they can have sight, and we just retake together. Or they can have whatever the fuck they want, we just retake together. That's my philosophy on that. But unfortunately, I think the bodies may be a little bit too, like, rough to work with right now. Spoit's still trying to get aggressive to, you know, punish and try to get this control back, because once again, they can't really stop the execute once they get, you know, all this control this fast, especially with all the utilities he has. But Shopify 1v3 Spoit. Probably not going to win it, but that is kind of like the default setups for your like top 4 on rank. So it's really going to learn these pro league defaults. And a take as well, like the take from DZ as well. And this is a 7-5 game, so we'll be able to learn a lot of strats from both sides. Both are really good layer teams, so just take the notes. So now we're going to go to Bunks briefing. Now this is a site where once again you'll be seeing, hey, they're holding top floor again. Why are they holding top floor again? Well, that's because the site has all soft floor above it, right? So we want to be able to hold vert over all the plant spots on the site itself. So they have a very similar setup, actually. They're going to have Canadian on this kind of U-Haul area. But the biggest thing here is they also need to have a sort of bridge to site. And so for that reason, they're going to have Spoit play on the green stairs to bridge next to Canadian in the U-Haul area. So Canadian's going to be playing inside here once again. He will be making vert over the site because you got to remember the site needs vert to be made over it, because that's what it is. But you'll notice that Spoit will be playing on the green stairs, and he likes to play with this particular setup on the green stairs, where he has zombies off both kind of his slants on the staircase to make sure no one can approach from around him. And this usually would not, and this allows him to get a crossfire down onto the shields that would walk down the hallway if the enemy wants to take top with the shields from green stairs. This is permissible on this site and not the top floor site, because you're going to have a site player inside of the site itself ready to bridge back and hold a crossfire with the Azami on the staircase. So this actually, because the site's down here, it shifts it so that your bridge between site can allow it to be happen, and now you can play on these green stairs with the Azami setup. So if you want to double up with the player playing top floor for a brief site and ranked, here you go. This is a duo play you can make with them. Additionally to that, you'll actually see some of the top floor reinforcements and setup shifts. So first of all, they're making vert above. The crucial vert spots for this site to make is one inside of storage, right? So you make sure you get the cross over here, the pillar plant, or sorry, there's a plant spot right here on top of this thing that you need to be able to stop from inside of storage. The cross on this side of the map, the site doorway plant on this right side will be needed to be made. Make sure you make this. The site breach plant is over here on the other side. This lets you hold the doorway through projector, but that's the not most threatening thing on that side. The actual most threatening thing from the operational side of the map is going to be the green pillar plant, which you need to make a vert for over around kind of this double door, right? So here's the green pillar itself, and if you make enough vert over here, you can actually see you can stop anyone getting to the green pillar. So that is the most crucial vert spots. You can also have vert over here if you really want to, but it's a lot harder to hold this vert because once again, you're just basically in front of two angles, but it's still good. And they're actually going to reinforce this wall instead of the rotate we saw previously, because if you don't have enough bodies up top, because you have bodies near sight now on the green stairs, you don't have enough bodies to actually extend over onto this side of the map. So how do we protect this guy playing vert? Well, then you're going to reinforce this wall. So I don't know if they do it, but I'm going to guess they're going to do it. They're going to reinforce this wall, stop you from, dying to like the guy banging you while you're playing vert, and at the same time also, because you're extending over here, reinforce this wall, while you're at it, and then obviously reinforce the outer sight walls to make sure no one can get in straight through sight. But if the enemy does go for a takeover, this is the better wall to actually flex reinforce off, and then because you have that strong of a green setup, you can layer off to play with your boys. You can even double layer off. There's some teams that actually genuinely double layer off against teams that take from operational over, and because you have the green stairs connector player, you can fall back and layer down green stairs. So multiple layers of gameplay here, but let's see what happens in the actual game before we start speaking too much. Solos on the board from the top floor, it's like a warden replacement, right? Especially if your warden's not in the spot to hold down through a smoke plant on vert, your solos can ping for the smoke plant, and it's a lot better for that reason. Now, DZ know that Spoit likes to play this position, so I believe DZ are going to go for a kill isolation play onto the player playing on the staircase just by rappelling on that window. I do think they know that Spoit plays this position. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. So those DZ know exactly that Spoit likes to play on the staircase with the Kiva barricades. So they're going to start breaking it. They're going to rappel on this rappel. And by rappelling on this rappel, they basically cut Spoit's fall back and his sight. Spoit can't get back now. Pamba Bazoo is going to go for a Capita fire on him from the opposite door, while Citizen and Spears are walking down that hallway on top of Spoit right now. So they're kind of isolating out this position. They know that is weak. Spoit's going to keep replenishing his zombies on here. And Ambi's doing a really good thing right now, which is helping out his boy, right? If they go for the util dump on Spoit, then they're going to be gunned down. Ambi's going to get the refrag, but Ambi was also their sight player, so it's kind of a rough game right here. You have to give up that sight. Sight wall gets open. Here comes a double up down green hall. or Skybridge. And now they're going for the nade clear onto Spoit. And like I said, Ambi helping out his boy here works out so well because Pampazoo was going to go for the util dump on his Spoit. He's going to get shut down immediately. And that's basically being this push shut down. Played super well between Ambi and Spoit. NJR does get one. Rexon gets immediately refrag onto it. But DZ end up finally kind of taking that like top Skybridge control, and now you see it's a two-way layer almost. So you almost see them SR reinforce it off, but they end up not reinforcing it off. Like they set up these top reinforcements so that they can layer and push and fall back both sides with that flex reinforcement, right? If they're going against a Skybridge take, they can reinforce off the top wall that way. If they're going against a Mez side take, they can reinforce off the other way. So if the enemy is going for a Skybridge take, then, you know, Shopify could just fall off and reinforce off this wall. But if the enemy is going for a Mez side take, then Shopify could just fall off and reinforce off this wall. So it's a really flexible, very cool reinforcement, flex reinforcements you can use to ensure that you hold down the vertical control above onto here. And once again, like I said, this wall's reinforced now. I do believe this one ended up not being reinforced. Am I an idiot? Or is it not reinforced? No, this is not reinforced, but this server wall is. And now you can see if they had reinforced it off, I mean, it might have been like safer for them to play here, but you'll see they're still holding down almost like they're still holding down 3 people top 4 here, Rexon and B Surf, and they've all fallen back to kind of positions that allow DC to have this space, but still have the crossfire over onto the vert side of the map. And now it's up to Dark Zero. Do we want to take the time to clear out these top 4 roamers, which will ultimately probably waste out the time, 30 seconds left, or do we flood down into sight? And it looks like Dark Zero want to go for the flood through top floor, so they'd be really wary of the crossfires. But Shopify have already like metagamed this, right? They've already known, okay, they're playing like to flood us, kill us. We're gonna fall back even more. Here comes the Blackbeard, spam ADS jiggle. Not going to work out for him, and all of top floor SR, they're going to spread out enough to counter that. So good plays by SR. It's a super flexible top floor setup that allows you to fall back either side. So if you wanted to fall back against a Mez take, you do exactly what I did. But if you want to fall back against this take, then you fall back to the other side. You make sure you hold down the top floor control off of that graded stairs layer. And that's Bunks briefing. Let's go to the next strat. For the basement, you'll see it immediately rotate into filtration. This is because for the attackers, getting filtration control is almost like a death sentence to defenders, because what it allows you to do is if they get down here, they can plant on this cabinet, which is super safe, right? And especially if they, by the time they get down here, they probably have taken the hatch control, which will give them like also the cross into, like they can just use the vert to clear out all this out. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a Mira facing into filtration, make sure no one can jump in. At the same time, we're going to have a player playing with the shotgun on filtration stairs. You'll see a lot of stairs shotgun positions, like in the like blue stairs on bank. Well, this is blue stairs on layer. You have a smoke playing here with the stairs shotgun. Let's go see what else they do on this site. And they're actually going to reinforce off weapons wall and probably make a rotate here as well with a double reinforcement onto med bay. So this is the other part, is once again, we don't want to get them, we also like, we don't want them to get filtration, but we also don't want them to get full vert over sight. So we're actually going to make a rotate into weapons. Super important, right? Reinforce off this wall to make sure you can kind of play in this hallway or not get wall banged from the hallway. And you set up this crossfire with your filtration stairs player, your blue stairs player, through this rotate. And then you're obviously going to reinforce, you know, these 2 walls just to make sure if they get into med bay on the opposite side, they're not going to be able to get in onto you here top. Boom, these 2 reinforced. And then they're likely, you know, sight hatches reinforced. You're going to get that sight hatch. You're going to get the single wall. They're going to get the double lockers wall, or like barrels, lockers wall reinforced bottom floor. This is all pretty standard. And now we have the reinforcement on the projector wall and the Mira on the weapons wall. And here you have it. This is going to be the SR extension roam onto weapons side. So once again, it's just to hold this hatch and vert over sight and hold down filtration stairs with like kind of like a triangle effect onto it with the players. You want to reinforce this wall because the enemy can just like wall bang you on the Mirror through this wall if it's not reinforced. So reinforce this wall for that reason. As for the other reinforcements, you're going to reinforce the hatch that goes into toxin. Reinforce this wall that otherwise would have given an enemy a long angle into your toxin control if they took garage. And we're not going to actually reinforce the garage walls because we just used all those resources for holding weapon side, right? So this is going to be the other side of the map that we're not going to hold down. We're actually going to, instead of reinforcing the pillar single wall, actually we're going to double reinforce the barrels wall, and they'll likely have like a lighter setup or presence around this side. I'm assuming the two side players are likely just going to play around here with those reinforcements, have a crossfire with each other, and yeah, let's see how it plays out. So yeah, it's kind of like a triangle roam. You have Ambi and Spoy doubled up inside of weapons because they hold the most important vert over the site, and then you have Canadian playing on the staircase with that smoke shotgun. So like the triangle, the triple roam right there, the 3 core roam positions for this site, and then the rest 2 players on site are just kind of spotting out, seeing if the enemy is going for that garage side take. But no, it looks like Dark Zero are going to push directly into this weapon side setup. They're going to immediately ace open this wall, and the bandits here are going to stop them from acing the second mirror. So that's why they're using the bandits on this side. And the shield you see coming down that staircase I was talking about earlier. The best way for the attacker to get in to clear out this room is immediately just walk down this staircase, and now you're ready to fight, the filtration stairs player and the player inside of weapons. So that's where Spirits is right now with the blitz, but they have the triple crossfire with Shopify Rebellion. Let's see how they'll respond to this. And yeah, the mirror setup is just going to work out super well. I also know G2 have a similar set where they double reinforce the wall and put a mirror on one side of it. But either way, really popular setup. Like if you're going to be roaming on this map and you're not comfortable doing those like light roams with minimal to no util, do this heavy roam, have a player play your staircase, and double up with your boys inside of the weapons room. Easy are coordinating quite well, but so are SR. Good C4 by them. And you see this is just so aids for Dark Zero to clear into. Like they're barely getting anything going right now. And despite the fact that you see the yellow pings going through, they have perfect info on these guys, but it doesn't matter because Spoy and Ambi just like they just have the crossfire set up over here. The other crazy thing is that regardless of this guy walking in, I do believe there's vert. You can even have people holding vert or like C4 for you underneath. You see them immediately run down the filtration stairs after they trade up 4v2. The reason being is the moment Pamba makes his vert, he's holding that fallback down from the filtration stairs through the vert right now. So they immediately get back because they know if they stay on filtration stairs right there, they're absolutely fucked. And it's awareness like that. So despite the fact that DZ have everything that they want, it doesn't matter because even if they got into filtration to go for plant now, they're against the Mira, right? They have the other players in sight. So really well done. And you see Surf boarding off the other side, the garage side of the map, just making sure no one can lurk over. That's likely where, one of the site anchors is playing the whole time. And if you're a site anchor and your teammates basically have that crazy of control over the vert, over the opposite side of the map, then you might as well extend it a little bit and look for drones and make sure the enemy team's not going for a clear on the garage side of the map. Totally horrible, Abe. But yeah, super heavy extension on the weapons side. Really powerful strat to use for your defenses on that layer basement. So go ahead and add that to your strat books. And we go to the next strat. Back to top floor. Now, the biggest thing, the setup actually doesn't change here a lot. The biggest thing that changes is going to be the Ella and the Fenrir and the Echo. Mostly the Echo and the Ella. The reason being is Dark Zero is going to crush this shield to walk down a hallway, whether it's Mez side or the opposite side of the map right here. As you can see, the reinforcements are entirely the same, right? They're just not going to, yeah, it's all the positions are essentially the same. Dark Zero are going to crush that shield, so Shopify counterpicked the Echo and the Ella in order to counter out that shield of spirits from walking down that hallway. DZ also banned smokes, which would have been an additional off to play against the shield operators, but they don't have it anymore. So the hallway, which basically telegraphs to Shopify that okay, DZ are getting rid of the guy here. Thank you, super. Like that, I actually fucking like. I actually so fucking sleep deprived. I'm like incoherent, bro. Thank you. Which basically is like telegraphing, hey, I don't want you having this guy throwing canisters over here because I want to walk spirits down this hallway again for the 15th quintillionth time. Now, if you'll notice, Shopify's ban also, now that we're talking about bans, I should have talked about this at the beginning of the fucking game, but Shopify's bans initially were Deimos and Buck. Why is this so important for a site like Top Floor? Well, if I'm Shopify and let's say I still had a smoke up, and I want to play this position in here, well, guess what? The one thing that's going to clear, like, if I have a perfect crossfire with my boy, I'm not fucking dying, right? Especially if I smoke grenades up, I'm not fucking dying. You know what will kill me is a guy getting in underneath and just making buck holes under me. Not only that, if I fall back, the next site position I can play is right here. What will counter this? The buck holes and the Deimos holes from underneath. Same thing. This is the one thing stopping them from crossing over to plant on this shelf right here, just like I said for the top floor. But we'll stop this. It's going to be the Buck and Deimos again. So Shopify banned the Buck and the Deimos, which I think is super, super transformative ban on this map, especially for that top floor site. But yeah, now we have Canadian on the Ecotron playing farther away. The Ella mines, the Fenrir mines for the shields coming through. And they're going to play this a lot more aggressively with the Echoes drones to try to contest this you know, and counter out that Spirits on Blitz or Blackbeard, because remember, Dark Zero, that's their whole identity, right? Is Spirits playing the Blackbeard, playing the Blitz, playing the Cheese Ops, and using them and crutching them to essentially win out their games and form an entire team identity around it. Dark Zero actually go for some crazy bans themselves, the Clash that counter the shields, and then the Chonka ban and the Smoke ban that stop the plant denial and the, you know, the little crouch down the hallway. But this time you'll see the counter picks actually work for Shopify. So the trap picks work, the Canadian, the Echo pick works. They use their cams to basically stun out, fuck up the shields over here on this side, and Shopify actually win out their engagement. So I don't need to show you guys the setup again, because it's the exact same, but the adjustments are what matter, and completely shut down Dark Zero's Skybridge push as a result. Next strat. Back to Bunks briefing. This time we're still going to have basically almost the entire exact same setup, like all the exact same operators, but once again, Smoke is banned, so Canadian's going to go on a shield counter, which is going to be Ella Shotgun actually. So same exact setup right now, and it looks like Dark Zero might be going for something a little bit different here, I believe. Let's see. Never mind, they're not. Dark Zero going for basically the exact same crunch onto the Green Stairs player. Once again, they have the player repelled outside. They want to kill those Green Stairs players so bad, but SR, they're ready to counter out the shields with their aggression. Maybe both games, G2 games and this game, are the same. So I don't need to show this setup again, but once again, it's just the same kind of gunfights, right? Sploit playing on this kind of bunker position down here on the Green Staircase. Not a new strat at all. Citizen actually wins out that one, 3v2. Shield makes it down the hallway again, and if you want to get a really good strong push going down onto the Lair, you also just take the Skybridge, take the pros do. You know, a shield pushing down the long hallway, and players pushing by Pebble's door. And right now, Spirits is actually going to go for kind of like a crazy play. Or I believe I remember this play. DZ are going to go for a little bit of a crazy play right now on Shopify. So Spirits is going to be outside the top floor, and he's gonna roll his yings, because remember how much like important vert we have over by here. I think he was I think this is what it is. Our Bunks vs G2 is better than these Bunks. I agree, but that game was boring. Maybe I should have broken down that game. I don't know why I'm breaking it down like this. Maybe I should break down less rounds. I don't know, bro. This drone hole is what Spirits is going to ying through to deny this vert, while at the same time, Dark Zero are going to flood through sight. Never mind. Wait. No, he went outside. Never mind. This is wrong map. Wrong map. DZ went for this play against a different team. Never mind. Fucking hell, I'm losing my mind. DZ decided to fall down and just immediately go for a smoke plant off of that because of the fact that SR weren't ready for it. Well, it just goes down, and yeah, that's gonna be this round done and dusted. But same setup again, so nothing new to learn there. Should I just like, maybe I need to restructure these videos to be like, maybe I should restructure these videos so I'm like looking at multiple games from the same team, but I'm looking at like the best round of like every different strat that they've run. That way I'm not repeating strats from like the same game. It's weird to look at the oldest match. I agree, Super, but I was watching the G2 match, and like genuinely for the audience, like it's very nuanced and good to watch as like me, but like the fact that your guys' game plan was defaults, which makes sense. You have a stronger defaults against them with a team that just, you know, region that doesn't understand it on the same level. It's just like, it's to the viewers, it's boring as fuck. That's why I'm watching this game. I'll fix the video format later. We'll just finish out the night because I gotta go to sleep soon. But yeah, now Shopify gonna run it back to basement, but this time they have a new setup. That's because this time they're gonna run a lighter roam. So last time you saw them playing kind of not lighter roam, but just a more spread out, more like individual position roam. Right, they're actually gonna make the rotate into med this time, and they're gonna double reinforce that filtration wall. And they're not gonna actually have this whole setup inside of with the Miras inside of weapons, because they're basically going to have a bunch of people on all individual positions, all spread out through top floor, instead of everyone bunkered up and tightened up on one side. So kind of giving you a different look on the roam. I'll fix this video format soon. So because they don't have that player on filtration stairs, blue stairs this time, that immediate smoke shotgun to play with, they're going to double reinforce the filtration wall this time, the split wall this time. And their top floor room is a lot more spread, so they're actually going to make the rotate onto weapons. They're going to make the rotate into med. And because they're likely going to be playing inside this missile area, or this is weapons, the other one's missiles? Motherfucker. They're going to double reinforce. Pro wall. No, it's reinforced. It just looks weird, bro. They get the toxin hatch once again. Lobby hatch is soft here? No. No fucking way. Colorblind? Why does it look dark? I wanna fucking cry, bro. It should be soft. No, that is soft. I'm just a moron. Oh my god. Whatever. They get the outside bunks walls. Chat, it's okay. I have 6 more maps to perfect this video format on. Outside bunks wall, make it rotate here. Apparently lobby hatch is soft so that they can like probably impact and drop down through it. I don't know what the fuck else are reinforcing. Probably just pillar wall and fuck. Oh yeah, it's gonna be pillar wall and fucking. It's gonna be pillar wall on this. Probably just lower yellow wall and then pillar wall again. Probably because like they just don't want to reinforce. Like with that many bodies on the roam, you're not gonna extend into garage, right? So pillar wall. You don't have double reinforcements with lockers, barrels, walls. I mean, you could do it, but they're not gonna do it because it's once again super light roam. If they want, so that the roamers, if they want to, they could make vert up of the site, stop the plant. But they could also just like run around and it's not as condensed and DZ can't just target it, which is actually what we'll see when they go for the same kind of clear onto the missile weapon side over here and they ace open the pro wall. They realize, okay, hold on, they're not all over here, right? We can't just isolate like the default positions because they're all over the map. They're all spread out. There's a player top floor. There's one player, only one player in here inside a missile this time around. Armory. It's called Armory? Oh my god, it is called Armory. What the fuck is missile? Oh, that's... I don't even know. And so because of that, Dark Zero are like, alright, bro, we can't find these guys on their clear. Fuck that. We're going to go hit site. Which actually ends up working out because there's no player on the staircase so they can walk down the filtration stairs. But unfortunately for them, SR is ready for it. And they end up dying to like all the vert across the site. Surf playing in a good position. And that's why you play the light roam. So like for the fluidity, so you're not locked into playing that one position. It's a good variation, so it gives a different look, right? If you're playing comp, one big fucking thing. One big idea is giving different looks. If you do a strat and you do the exact same strat the next round, usually the enemy team, if they're good, if they're bad, they won't do it, but if they're good, they will call it adaptation to the previous strat you will do. That's the most predictable. Oh, last time they did this, so let's just bring this, and this time. So you give a different look because they're countering nothing now, right? Dark Zero did try to go for the same kind of clear on the players inside of Weapons Armory, but it was a fully free roam spread across the entire map with the positions almost everywhere. You have the Bunks player, you have the fucking players all over the map, so it doesn't even matter. And now Shopify Rebellion, despite the fact that Dark Zero got the bomb down, they're going to end up winning the round off a retake. Now on to the side switch. Shopify will ban double wall denial so that, this is a map with a lot of walls. Not as many as like Night Haven or Clubhouse, but still really important for that. Dark Zero banned like the double cheese operators or double execute operators, Glass and Grim. And now we're going to talk about Shopify's attacks on this map going into the top floor. So DZ have a similar setup. So very first round already, Shopify is going to do probably one of the most innovative attacks I've seen onto this top floor site that I've ever seen in my entire life. Ambi's going on a Maru, and he's not only going to Maru through any window, top floor, or anything of that. You also see the Ying shotgun, and this is something really, the cheese operators are something like really mastered by NA, I would say. Now, Secret used a lot of them to win EWC, but I will say NA probably has the most presence of them across the board. The Sense, the Ying shotgun, the Blitz, the Amaru shotgun, they're getting ready for a crunch onto the back side of the site, near the Skybridge side. So Sense is actually going to create a line of sight across the bottom of the staircase to run up through Rocket Stairs. At the same time, Titania is going to drop off the roof and jump into Art Window. At the same time, Ambi is actually below going through this hatch. So it's like a three-way, basically, crunch onto this back side right here, right? Ying goes through Pebble's door, Ambi comes through the hatch. They're going to have Blitz hop through one of these windows, and a player coming up Rocket Stairs to kill all the players in sight. And it's just a matter of time, basically. I lied. It's not going to be the Ying going into the Pebble's door. It's going to be Ying going through the drone hole that's going to blind the players in sight while Ambi goes through. So once again, that drone hole basically clears out all of this area that Ambi could have, died to. Ambi gets through, immediately gets a guy on the rotate, and now he's in the middle of the site cutting apart DZ's bodies. And he's going to play this super smart because he's actually going to tuck up for most of these gunfights. He's going to basically play a duck around this singular spot in the middle of the fucking site. And so this will be definitely a rush that you guys can go for. They go for this plant spot now that we were talking about earlier. They have the cover from the R door side, and Dark Zero really have nothing they could do to retake against Shopify Rebellion here. And they eventually lose the round off a brilliant rush by Shopify Rebellion. For attacks, I probably don't need to show the fucking setups, right? Maybe this series needs a little bit of a rework, bro, because I have no idea. Yeah, and until this point in the league, DZ was thought to be the best team at Lair, by far. Shopify took him to this map and they're up 5-2 on it. And yeah, so now you see the positions against this Bunks Priest strat now. Easy want to hold down the top floor because there's vert all over the site. Same thing that Shopify Rebellion wanted to do. Shopify Rebellion are going to do. DZ mostly did a Mez or a Skybridge side take against this. Shopify Rebellion are actually gonna. Let me go ahead. Maybe this series. I just need to like revert this series to like back to just like a VOD review type series, bro. Because like this is just insane. Like I'm like just losing full. I'm losing full. Maybe it doesn't work as a map guide series. Maybe it doesn't work on people learning. Maybe the people that watch Pro League are not the same people that want to learn strats. Chad, I tried to bridge the gap there. I don't think it works. So typically DZ, as you saw, which is what normal teams do at this point in the stage, is they would play to take down Skybridge, right, and then eventually get down with the punt bomb. Shopify are actually going to go for the opposite of that. They're going to go for a Mez side take. So what is a Mez side take? You're going to get into operational. It's going to be all this hallway down on this side of the map. You're going to get into operational. You're going to go down and create this cut down to the hallway. At the same time that you get this cut down the hallway, you're going to have a player sprint up the rocket stairs. This is super important, right? Up the rocket stairs, make sure this guy gets double crunched by the player getting to operational, and at the same time you're going to have players hop into bathroom. So basically all this hallway side of the map is entirely taking through the Mez take. The Mountain hops in, drones it out. Here comes Spoit down from operational, but unfortunately for them, Dark Zero does get the pick there. But unfortunately for Shopify Rebellion, because they don't have that player immediately going up rocket stairs, Pamazu is able to retake it. And we actually do see this in the game against GG2, is they don't have a player for this rocket stairs position on this push, because, you know, you can't like, allocate everybody everywhere at all times. They finally kill, Pamba on the staircase. I am losing full right now. I'm so sorry. Spirits actually will play close on the window and get on pick over here. This series might be a flop, bro. I'm not gonna lie. This series might be a flop. This might be the biggest flop of all time. Maybe I stop trying to tell a story and I just like watch. And I just observe. Trying to like not enjoy myself each time I do one of these. Maybe the depression? I know, bro. I'm not liking it, bro. DZ fall off the top floor after Shopify. I finally got all that control. And now that Shopify know that they're not on the verge, Canadian can now try to cross to a safe plant spot to potentially go for the bomb plant. DZ is all around them though. And you can see him kind of questioning whether or not these players are on the vert. Unfortunately, that led to them being dead. And Dark Zero end up winning the round off of it. You might come to love these map reviews. Just a lot of work, but I appreciate it. I thought it's a lot of work. It just doesn't flow well. It's just not a good story. Like, some of these rounds are just genuinely boring. Next round, onto basement. Unfortunately, Shopify lost that last round. And it looks like they'll struggle a little bit more on the defense, like attack half on this map. But next round is going to be basement. They're going to run a... Let's see what take they're running. What strat are they doing for the basement? Maybe just do. Maybe it should just be more of a learning experience together. Looks like they're doing that, like kind of their like garage crunch. So typically you see like what Dark Zero do in contrast, so they cleared down like filtration stairs. Shopify are gonna do a garage down. That claymore, y'all should all use that claymore because that claymore will get a lot of kills. It's a claymore onto the casual viewers will know what the fuck to do with these strats. If you go in there and won't know how to play it, yeah, I agree. It shouldn't be strat based. It should be just like a review. Like it should just be reactionary, learning shit together. Figuring out shit together. I think that's much more organic. I'll restructure it, but it's a claymore onto this drone hole in the basement, and it fucking catches so many players. It's insane. You should all do it. But the idea of this strat, I believe, from SR is they're going to get their way through garage, get this control, ace open this wall, and get onto this plat spot on the pillar. Now, why is this good against Dark Zero? Because Dark Zero are playing kind of a very passive Goyo to Chonka denial strat where they also have a light roam above that can stop the plant from vert. SR are banking on the fact that they're going to get to the plant spots, which will cause the players to move into predictable positions on vert, and then you just saw Ambi getting in on that top floor on a lurk, I think, to kill the players off the vert at the same time that it's happening. Yeah, I definitely need to rework. I definitely will rework the series. 100%. Because it's also been flopping just straight up, so I'll definitely have to rework it. And as you can see right now, Pamba's a bit lost on what to do because the vert for that garage side take is actually completely different for the vert for the backside take, which is what Pam was holding. So right now, there's going to be a gunfight happening top floor. That is the most gunfight in the entire history of the round because it will determine who wins the round. As you can see, Pamba sprinting and Hammer Spirits actually kills him through the vert. Hammer retakes the vert right now, and that's going to be really tough for Shopify Rebellion. I have a video I think would do good. Tell me the video. I might rage quit right now. Low key. Rethink my life. do the Denari video tomorrow. The rest of the maps, Denari video, because that one's actually doing well. See if you can guess the style of the team. Cool rounds, blackout name, try to guess who you're watching. Ooh, dude, super. You should just fucking take like 50% of my channel and come with these ideas. Okay, you know what here's gonna happen? I am so depressed. I'm gonna have Dapper just take the first part of the video where I analyze your attacks from the G2 game and just throw that in for this attack half right now. Because either way, Dapper, just slam together these two halves. Because I think I'm like too depressed to continue this video. And I'm too tired. Like, I'm really tired. I gotta wake up early, so I'm running out. I'm losing it. All my good ideas are gone. Alright, good night, chat. I rage quit. I need to rethink how I want to do these series. Alright, so going into the map, the bans are going to be double wall denial. SR, pretty standard for a map like Lair, especially for that mask wall. And then shield ban, Deimos ban for G2, stopping the underneath presence, but Ambi will still be playing the Buck as a result. This match was pretty historical because it's the first time Stompin versus Spoit at an international event. And, you know, everyone knows the result now, but we'll be breaking it down. This is generally... But one thing you'll notice already from that short little preview clip against DZ is the operator lineup for SR is going to have a lot of, like, cheese disruption. A lot of, like, Raora, Execute Op, Canadian, Capita Fire, Execute Op, Spoit, Sense, Execute Op, and Rexon on the Glass, Execute Op. So Ambi's already getting in underneath, and he's going to essentially use these Auroras to block off bottom lobby. Now, why does he want to get these Auroras off to block bottom lobby? Well, because they're going for a Mez take. So what is a Mez take? Let's go ahead and rewind it to the... Actually, did you block it already?
And I'm very excited to see how they play with Aurora. Same. The big thing about this is when
Oh, yeah. Now, what is a mix? Let's rewind. Yeah, let's rewind it back to the beginning of the round just so we can kind of see what the idea is. So typically there's two sides of this map to take on the Lair top floor site. There's the Skybridge side, which is one of the most common takes, which is why Alamal's playing there with the smoke shotgun. You've seen it so many times. People will smoke off either of these corners on the Mez side. And then there is the Mezzanine side, right, where you try to open up this mask wall. The plant spot, I'll show you the plant spot in a little bit, but you try to... Oh, it's all set up for this singular plant spot right here. And I'll show you guys in game right now, actually. We need the Mowgli gameplay vid. Sadly, they didn't fucking post him. Any of his fucking POVs. So it's actually fucked. Let me DoorDash you some coffee. Dude, I wish. I'm losing full right now. I will not lie. It's looking grim for little Fett. He's looking grim for little Fett right now.
You must locate and defuse a bomb.
I could get you a POV? Yeah, man. Yeah, like as if I haven't. Look, if you give me a POV, I will love you forever, bro. But like, you must have some sort of connects, bro, because there are no POVs. Because this plant spot is really, really safe. As you can see, if I walk into this breach and plant, I'm just fully covered by this little half wall right here, right? The issue is, what is stopping this plant spot from happening? Well, the players playing over here in top Mezzanine that can stop the plant spot, as well as shoot hard breaches off this wall. You still need to hard breach this wall open.
that could be a huge impact for the side of Shopify.
And so that's why... And so, despite the fact that Spoit, Ambi, and Rexon are getting into operational here, they still really have no leverage yet to get into the round. But this is where SR are super good, and I always said this, they're the best Sense and Raora team in the world. Their objective right now is to kill this player, top fire stairs. Right, or sorry, Their objective is to kill this player on the top of rocket stairs, because this guy can shoot the breaches off of the mask wall, as well as kill the players down the hallway, right? There's also a crossfire onto this player back inside of the site, because the wall's not open, there's no threat to kill this player, so he can also hold down a crossfire down anyone walking down the hallway. So Shopify Rebellion used the Aurora and the Sense grenades in order to isolate off this player from the chest desk and go for a pick down Rocket Hall. Not only that, you start to see Alamount burning, because that was Canadian's job this whole time, and you even see G2 doing this strat on Lair, as we've seen before. G2 versus NIP. Let's see. End round.
For G2. Is a lot of and G go fire versus.
Let's see if the cat.
Carefully was to drone that little corner in operation. Ash on the board though. No, top they can play out.
And this is something you actually see from G2 as well that they do, is they have the Capital here on the rocket door. The player holding the rocket staircase allows this player to deny the hallway. So G2 are going to burn Util and then Capital Flame over here and then over top through this little hole right here to dump Util on this fire player. And he either needs to walk down into the fire or walk up into the rocket stairs. Or, sorry, the fucking operational side players, which is exactly what SR are going for as well. So they use the Auroras, they use the smoke grenades, Alamau has to fall back off of it, all the disruption utility on this side, and Surf is holding back bathroom side to hold that rotate on the back side of the map, and they gain their control, right? Surf does go down, but SR basically have all the control they need to continue to flood all the way. Here comes a second fire from Canadian. Canadian now pushes up the rocket stairs, and now they're going to flood through with the glass right here. G2 are holding onto this control pretty well, though. Killing Surf relieves that back pressure and allows them to play inside bathroom, but unfortunately, Rexon's going to get that control, and Spoit perfectly rotates around for this reason, right? So having this bathroom door means that, one, there's first of all no one getting into bathroom, to be able to play against your push like we saw with Alamau doing earlier. And two, it means the players from site, coming from site around this area, cannot cross to now fight you on the top fire Mez 90 side. So Spoit immediately goes to rotate this position, and this is a position now where Spoit is a player you typically expect, like, if you're an idiot and you have no idea how Pro League works, you're like, oh, well, Spoit's playing entry. This guy's just the best entry in the world. Well, right now, he's just playing mailbox and a cut. So the next step after you get rocket stairs is obviously you want to figure out if you want to go for the bomb plant, right? Right now, SR kind of go for like a gamble take, or not even a gamble take, but just one where they don't have a full Harbinger like Ace or Thermite to open up this wall, and one where they do have Harbridge charges, which is the right play to make here. But, you know, if this guy isn't here, it's also not that hard of a cross to make, especially with sense grenades or just like sprinting in and getting behind the tuck wall plant spot. So let's see what SR does. And you see G2 are playing good positions against it because Doki knows that, right, this is the next step in SR's attack. Like, this attack is very logical. It's all set up to take the hallway, to get this wall open, to now plant in this little corner right here. So Doki's playing here on the rat spot. Very, very methodical to completely deny this away. And Canadian does, so they do go for the smoke cross, right? So they did take that gamble that no one was here on this wall. And it doesn't work out for them because Doki was here, and Doki gets a double kill. Unfortunately, Ambi does refrag it. 30 seconds left, but this is kind of doomed for SR, I believe. Back to 2v2, Ambi and Spoit, and now it's kind of like this baiting game where they had to double swing the planter, but it's going to be really tough. Oh, and look at the smoke play and the sense play. And now it's Lair in a 1v1. Lair actually hits it. Just insane clutch shots from G2. But yeah, you kind of see the idea of the strats, the gambles they take behind it. That is going to be your mezzanine take. So for those R6 maps, r6strats.com, let's go ahead and actually make some like Lair. Is Lair in here? Lair's in here. Ooh. Make a Lair strategy. You've got to be kidding me. Lair R6. But for the ranked people who want to learn how to better do this strat, what you do is you immediately want to drone people into operational. And number one, make a hold down. They don't do this, but make a hold down into operational wall to prevent anyone from getting here or from walking down the hallway. Then you want to make sure. My fuck, you got. You regain passion for the game again, Fett? I don't know, but you know what? I have a mission to accomplish, and I'm not stopping until I accomplish that mission. Number two, they did have Ambi lurk here just to make sure no roamer was down here to flank and just swing out and kill Canadian. But you have a Capital on the rocket door for the next rocket stairs player, and you dump Util. I have flashbangs right now, but just imagine I'm Capital. Burn, and then everyone pushes up at the same time. You use your smoke grenades. You have a guy on the rappel outside. This is the other position to have. You have a guy outside the bathroom windows or on rappel over here to ensure that no one can cross through bathroom, and just hold this guy on the staircase, right? That would be really, really bad. So bathroom player kind of denies that from the windows, and then you can walk up rocket stairs, crunch this guy, kill this guy, use Aurora to block off this door. Once you get back, open up this wall. Don't make the mistake that SR did. They kind of rushed and took a gamble there. You can even open this wall off the rip to make it even harder to play here, and then, or if you don't want this long angle, don't open it, and then plant the bomb here, and now you have a bomb plant spot. That's the general idea. That's the idea of the mezzanine take for the top floor. Let's go to our next site.
To bring him down, but still an incredibly hotly contested round, and like you said, with how defense
So going into Bunks Briefs is a site where basically you can stop every single plant from vertical control from above the top floor. Same way, if the attack takes it for free, they can just clear out all your site players, drop down, and go for a free plant. So for that reason, almost every defensive strat will basically be a super condensed top floor hold that'll always have a reinforced server wall and a reinforced single wall right here, just to prevent the angles down from the operational side. Because in strats like this, typically speaking, because of bomb site itself is on a different floor, you have to commit one more player that could have been top floor down, so therefore you can extend as hard as you can as you would like a full top floor setup, and thus you set up your crossfires for that kind of deal. Shopify, now the meta on this strat is to go for kind of like isolate, like pressuring the site plant, which forces everyone to go, forces everyone on that heavy top floor setup to look down at the site itself through the vert holes, because they have to worry about the site plant, and then off of that gap, right, off of people like looking at down through the holes and like diverting their crossfires away from the top actual roam clear that they're setting up right now, you go for like a push through on the top floor side. Now you see right now SR are once again going for the same type of crunch. They're going for bathroom players, outside art players, operational players. They're going once again for an operational mez side take through the mask wall. How do I die? They have Ying Shar. I guess that's the most.
Op 4 eliminated all friendlies and defuse a bomb.
Suicide spot WWW. Now traditionally speaking, the more direct way to take. Where's the vert above the site itself? Hold on, sorry. Am I stupid as fuck? Where's the vert? Is it here? Oh, yeah. Now, traditionally speaking, the vert above the site breach directly. Now, traditionally speaking, motherfucker. Alright, I'm losing it. Back. 3, 2, 1. Alright. Traditionally speaking, the more direct top floor clear on the site is to take down Skybridge with like a shield, clear the defender that's playing inside of storage with like your shield or whatever, and then now that defender has no more vert for the green like lobby door side plant, or even the site plant really, if you're able to successfully get people out from that area, and then you're gonna flow down green and just be able to like just plant directly, you know, where there's no longer a guy here, right? Or use a sense grenade to like plant right here, or run into that little cubby right there. But SR know that G2 have a strong setup for that, right? G2 basically have players ready in that green lobby area. They're all stacked up with the smokes on that side of the map, and that's what they're set up for. So SR choose to go for a mess type side take. Similar to last time, they have Surf going outside that mask breach. They have Ambi outside the art window. Ying catalyzing the entries, and they're just going to basically crunch through the mez side once again. Rexon does go for a lurks kill into sight, which actually does work out extremely well for him. Or I think maybe he could have. Wait, hold on. Where did he hop it? Did he go through? He walked through main. He walked to the security hallway, and he caught. Who did he kill? Display room. Yeah, I don't know how the fuck he killed him there. Okay, well, regardless. And now the critical step in clearing this roam is opening this ace wall. Like, people don't really realize like how important these two like little walls right here. Like, if this wall was open, imagine like now Stompin can no longer move between the rotate anymore, right? Like, he can't walk swing this wide. Same thing with this. If this wall was still closed here, people couldn't move through this rotate. So opening both these walls on the operational clear across really helps them. G2 will actually opt to go for, like, I think, which in my opinion, a pretty bad call here, but despite, like, they have to go for something to bring back the picks, because it is a 5v3, and they opt to have Alamau basically suicide position with Stompin and pray to God to get some killbacks. This would have actually likely worked if SR decided to momentum through and get their, like, you know, get the wait too impatiently, just momentum all the way through. But lucky for them, Ambi is super patient. They rotate him all the way around to the Pebbles door, and they have managed to get a kill onto Stompin. And the last one is Alamau up top. He's just gonna get isolated. There's players already aware of the vert, and SR basically with the lurk play this pretty well. Alamau does get one, but he's eventually going to go down. So that's going to be an operational side take full top floor roam clear across. If, in my opinion, if you're not going to go for like a minimal plant type strategy, this is the one you want to go for. So the initial positions for your players, you're going to have one player starting outside of mask wall, and he's going to get in here. This can be your ace, and he can also throw the ace charges onto this wall to stop the defenders from going through that rotate, and same with this wall to stop the defenders from going to rotate as well. Your next player will entry through operational again, and this way he can make the same kind of angle down here and get a crossfire and double up with your mask wall player. Your other two players are going to come through bathroom side. This is going to be a little bit of a harder entry to do. It's definitely your operational players and mask wall players that will catalyze the entries more so, but this time they actually use the Ying shotgun. So big thing for taking bathroom is that Ying shotgun is super insane and broken for doing it. Let me go ahead and show the people who cag Lair.
Mechanics, and I think this is something that's known since EWC. 7M.
Quite Austin now for Chibasu, the easy kill. If it gets open, where they
Or did they do it here? Let me see.
take, yeah, because they're not now mapped on the pressure. Unclash once again in point out the whole Black Ray able to shoot out the hair of that kick, but Handy cooks first.
They don't do it here. Hold on. What did they do it?
Really well. Bingo.
Jesus Christ, I can't fucking find it. Dude, where the fuck? Does anyone know the CAD game I'm talking about? On Lair?
Real value.
Maybe it's this one? Could be this one.
Have it no unwanted. They're playing around. They can't quite do brow. He's freezing those. Should know what they need to lock him out. Dream's got them now. Because unwanted.
They banned the Ying. So it happened before that. Oh, it's this one. I remember this one now. I remember this one now. It's this one now. Yeah. It's this one. It's this one.
With this plant here, but he's caught on shot up against the Warden, close quarter engagement, unemployable.
Okay, yeah.
Kano still has his glasses.
Okay, and this entry was actually innovated by, a Japanese team, Kagosaka. We see there with the Ying shotgun happening in their bathroom. Wasn't really successful there.
Says a lot. Someone else. Exactly, and then that's gotta be no way gonna play out. You're just biding down the time.
Did they do it again? Please tell me they do it again. Oh, sorry. Okay. Alright, I'll do that again. And this entry was actually, innovated by Kagosaka, a Japanese team. So you see him with the Ying. He's going to have the shotgun. This is, I think, one of the first plays that made Ying shotgun super popular. So anytime Ying's through and the hallway players can no longer help him. And this is actually how Kag upset Spoit's team back when he was on M80. So this is actually what will allow the players to hop in the Ying through the hallway, roll it down, and because you can kind of count on the fact that they won't have a rocket player, you can hop in an art player at the same time, and there's your entry. Right now, there's three kind of layers we have to break down when you're going. There's three kind of layers you have to think about when you're talking about going from a mez across. So the mez is going to be this side. I know this is a really bad graphic, but the defenders are going to see this take. They're going to fall back. One from bathroom side, they're gonna fall back into meeting, right around this meeting room area. That's layer number one. And then at that point, when you make the defenders fall back, then you have to start opening up these walls to make sure they, first of all, if you open up this wall, then they can't if you force them to fall back and not play a crossfire in front of a server. And then two, you have to open this wall, which allows you to basically start fighting these people inside of meeting room. And then the defenders are gonna play the third layer, which is fall back onto the top of the green stairs. This is going to be natural for the defenders, so they fall off server side, they fall off here, and then they fall through this last rotate, and then they're going to be playing over here by top green, and then this, if they want to fall off, they go down the green stairs directly in the site. As you can see, Alamo decided to play here to dive because it's a 5v3. In this scenario, once again, it is a correct play to wait for Ambi to come outside Pebble's door. This will allow you to ensure that off this pixel angle from Pebble's door, you can hold the rotates back and forth through the storage door to make sure that no one is able to get kills off that with Rexon lurking the site. So that's going to be another operational side takeover. And hopefully these types of videos help you guys implement these kind of strats into your ranked games. Next side is going to be basement. So on this side, it's most popular thing to do on this site is to go for a roam. You see Stompin already setting it up already. He's going to be playing inside of weapons area, which will have the primary vert because the most popular take is going to be a filtration side take. Let me go ahead and die to show you guys what that is.
We have been eliminated.
Yeah, DZ versus Spoopify might be actually better, but this is a game from Louis World Cup. Smartest coach does fall damage. Dude, shit. So generally attackers will just have to take control down from the staircase over here, the rock staircase, fossil staircase, whatever you call it. Get control of this vertical room, which creates get this hatch that goes directly into the basement site. You can also make vert onto this U-Haul or this split connector room in sight. And just by getting down the blue stairs / filtration stairs and opening this wall, now you have a cross of anyone trying to walk close. And then your plant spot, remember, it's all set up around singular plant spots. Your plant spot is here, right? So if you have a guy on the hatch, the guy on the hatch can hold the stock door. Usually you'll even have a player playing in the stock door. And then this guy opening the wall can cross this. And then all the vert can hold the cross to the site while you're safely going for bomb. That is why defenders will often roam on the blue staircase with a shotgun. So you'll typically see a mute jammer, mute player here, super important to play here. And then also an extension, oh my god, with the rotate inside of weapons as well. So to snipe enemies from getting this too fast. And also play a crossfire with this shotgun player. And I'm pretty sure that's what you're going to see, motherfucker. How do I go back? That's pretty much what you're going to see G2 be setting up right now. SR are likely gonna go for roam clear on this too, so they actually have a player outside of the green lobby door. But then he's actually gonna flow down into sight, and maybe off the drones here, SR might be calling to go for a sight crunch through. So maybe actually, yeah, maybe off of just seeing like how many players in the room, SR are gonna flip a switch. They're gonna be okay. There's a million people running around randomly on the roam. Obviously, they're set up against a roam clear if we want to go for that. We're not going to go for that, and that's the perks of having the greatest IGL to ever touch the game. And he's going to call you, okay, let's just go crunch site. Let's go crunch this guy on site. Let's go crunch these players on site. Everyone's in the room, right? We got Alamal playing above. We got Splaz playing above. Do we want to just go straight for the site layer? G2 have a lot of obstacles with the castle ready, so that's good for them. But they're basically going to crunch from every single pressure point. They're going to crunch all around the site from every pressure point. Or maybe just go for a gap. That's exactly what they're doing, actually. The Canadian, he yings in. He takes filtration. The VOD is frozen, but he isn't. He teleports into filtration, I guess. Surf takes a 1v1 with the stock player. Rexon kills the player on vert. And that is one thing, is having that lure control ready to go back and forth. Rexon, because... Holy fuck. That's being cute. Give me a second. I'm having a stroke, but... Aww. So cute. Okay. And yes, you are right. They're doing the anaconda. So the anaconda is basically putting every single person on a horizontal pressure point. This is actually a popular cafe strat. And you're gonna all crunch in horizontally through the map while one player lurks up top. Because guess what? While your players are crunching in through horizontally, your vert players on G2 are going to be looking through the vert to stop these entries, because that's how they know how to stop the entries. While that's happening, Rexon's going to walk in top 4 directly onto these top players and immediately kill them. So they had players coming in through garage, they had players coming stock, and they had players yinging in through inside through filtration. Now this was a huge play by Alamal. However, I should have done the DZ game. The DZ game was better strategically. Should I pivot now, bro? Because this game's gonna default as fuck. Like, this game was all clutches, bro. I actually don't know. Or should I do this game first and then pivot to the DZ game? I'm gonna do this game fully first and then pivot to the DZ game. Okay? That's what's gonna happen. This game was all clutches, bro. But this play was actually super huge for G2, because Alamal actually hops out from behind onto stock. Now, if you know a player, so Canadian dies to the stock player, right? This is the chain of thought. Canadian dies to the stock player. He calls a guy stuck on stock. Rexon sort of, or Sploit takes contact with him, and now he knows Stomp and stuck in stock, and now they're going to go for a 2v1 ISO onto stock. Right now, Alamal is anticipating that if a player comes outside of stock to hunt Stompin', he's dead no matter what, so Alamal jumps out preemptively to try to kill that player, and actually, it traps both the players in this corner, which might have fucked them over, but unfortunately for Shopify Rebellion, this lets them double up, and it's actually going to work out for them. They double swing through, and Rexon's in a 1v2, and yeah, he just ends up losing it. So G2 actually does a lot of good play here, which is why they're the best Lair team in Europe, right? And probably the second best Lair team in the world. But you got to remember that, you know, Shopify Rebellion still have a lot more in the pocket to show us. You're going to be pissing a waterfall in 20 minutes? Oh, word? Well, you analyze stress is so tough. Thank you, man. But yeah, if you want to replicate this Anaconda for your rank stack, basically, you get players outside the filtration window. They're ready to go. It's basically just like you drone, and you find all the pressure points, and you go for a gap at some point. I think it's better to show on a Lair R6. I think it might be better to show on like the blueprint. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So you have the stock door. So you have the stock door entry. Oh my god. So you have stock door entry. You have no, that's not stock door. So you have filtration window entry, stock door entry, barrels entry, another barrels entry, and then garage entry. And basically all of these, you just keep poking and prodding until one of them finds their way through. That's the idea of Anaconda. You just all wrap horizontally until you all break into the map. This only really works against people with a vertical roam above the site, because once again, it means their bodies aren't fully on site. So that's essentially the way that strat works.
No longer on Ella. Little bit of a gun op, like you just want to score with a shotgun in that case. And they're doubling up.
But now we're going to the top floor again for a Shopify Rebellion. Now we're going to the top floor again for Shopify Rebellion. They've realized that, for G2, they've realized that Shopify Rebellion want to go for that mask plant, right? They want to get that mask wall open, they want to take Mezzanine control, and they want to plant the bomb. So therefore, there's going to be Smoke, Chanka, and Goyo to kind of slow that down and stop that. It looks like Shopify are going to set up for the same thing. They're opening up Skybridge, maybe to create false pressure, but overall, in general, it might be the same thing, or maybe not. We'll end up seeing what they go for. So Ambi gets it underneath. Probably going to walk up the rocket stairs again for the same entry. Goyo fire on the rocket stairs to slow it down, so G2's ready to counter it, but this time they have Canadian, they have the ace this time to open up the wall, and they have the Canadian on the Blackbeard ready to cross to get that bomb to the plant with the shield up. And now you see all of G2, their eyes are all diverted onto this top rocket stairs clear, so, if Arshar wanted, they maybe could hit the back, but I don't think they're going to do that. But here comes the util. They finally walk up the rocket stairs. G2 actually fall off and give it away, and the players inside of Operational Mask actually get the control again. So they get the exact same control. They use a sense wall across, and maybe they're able to get into a plant spot because of it. Tachanka fires are coming through, though, so that's kind of the game right now, is G2 are playing to give up all this hallway control so that they can use the Tachankas and the smokes to deny that mask plant for as long as possible, but you always have to face the risk of SR floating through, and they have a lot of time to work with to keep faking out this plant, especially with all these zombie barricades, letting them retake close, and the shield letting them shoot fires here. So now SR needs to make a crucial decision. Do we keep playing the plant game, or do we flip it around to crush? I didn't turn the AC down because it's hot as fuck right now. Or do we flip it around and go for kills on the other side in order to try to break apart this defense? And it looks like they want to continue to stick the plant game, which will ultimately fail them in the end because of, the guns from the side of G2, as well as just the oppressive wall plant denial that's going to happen for the rest of the game. Surf is in 1v2, but it looks pretty much unwinnable because 36 left. And yeah, this is kind of like the same strat, so I don't need to break it down. This is very, very default. Not a lot of variance. I'm realizing I should have picked the G2 DZ game now.